So this is some pictures from the Valentine's banquet that Greg and I went to on the 15th, and I wore my red skirt and my mama's white blouse. Hello, welcome back to Silver Thread Sewing. I'm Diane. This is Friday Sews. So as always, thank you for coming by my channel. If this is your first time, thank you. And if you're returning, I really appreciate it. Before I start saying anything, I want to say thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting the hashtag Friday Sews and allowing all of us to join in with her. I have been working on my hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate make. That's took some of my time this week. I'm making a pattern that I've never made before, and I'm using a double brush poly. And I had commented last Friday Sews about making a double brushed poly dress, and that I had done the neckband at 86%, and I had a couple comments, well, that's a really strange number, how did you reach that number? Just questions about that, and I wanted to explain myself. I had watched a video just a couple days ago from Catherine Sews, and of course she's a sewing teacher, and she is wonderful at upcycling and sewing, and just, she's just an amazing sewist. And she was doing a knit neckband, and she said she most always does it at 75%. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather eat rice with a toothpick than to have to try to pick out a knit seam, a serge seam in knit fabric. I hate it. I almost always find that it either makes a hole or the fabric will run or I mess something up. So I hate taking a chance of having to pick out a seam, a neck seam, any kind of knit seam. But anyway, I measure the circumference of whatever I'm making at the stitching line. And for this particular garment, I measured at 23.5 inches, 12.5 in front, and from the shoulder seam to the back, it was 10 inches. And I went ahead and cut one at 75% like she suggested, and then I did one at my usual 86%. And I grade up if it's close, like the 85% one come out to being 19.975, and I graded up to 20. The 75% one came out to being 17.625, so I graded down to 17.5. So I've never found a perfect formula that works every time. Generally, I use a lot of cotton knits, even maybe 100% cotton or cotton lycra, cotton spandex, and that may be one reason that I need a little bit more neckband because it's harder to stretch that kind of fabric. Now this double brush poly is very stretchy, but I find that if I go ahead and create my neckband and I do my fold and press it, then I quarter mark it, the back and front and then the sides, and do the same to my neckline. I can take clips and I can match up all those quarter points and then see, do I have enough fabric? Do I have too much fabric? And it's very simple to take it off and go take a wider seam at the back and take some length out than it is to have too little fabric in the neckband. So that's why I cut mine bigger, and then if I put it on and start clipping around and I say, oh, this is too much, it's too loose, it won't lay flat, then I can just go and take some deeper seam and, keep going with it till I get it to where I like the way it's fitting, the way it's laying, the way it's easing in the neckline. So that's why I cut mine a little bit bigger, but I did, I'm going to try the 75% as she suggested, and just to report back to you and see how I got along with that. I have made some of the Iris, what is the Iris tee? Friday Pattern Company Iris? I don't think that's right. I'll put it down which pattern that is. But I've made a bunch of those t-shirts in cotton jersey. And the neckband piece that came with the pattern never was quite wide enough for that fabric. So I always would cut it longer because I hate having to stretch the neckline to the point sometimes that your machine struggles to even sew it because you're putting so much tension on that neckband just to try to ease the fabric in. So I would rather have a little bit too loose than a little bit too tight. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So just remember, this is a channel about what not to do when you sew. So don't ever do anything as I do it because it's probably wrong. I had mentioned last week that I'm doing this copy of this ready-to-wear herringbone fabric jumper. It's just a sleeveless jumper. And I've got my red herringbone fabric laid out on the table, and I've started to cut it 2 or 3 times because I'm just copying this. It's 2 pieces. It's a back, a front, and it has the all-in-one facing. So there's 2 pieces, a back facing and a front facing, and that's what I'm going to try to duplicate. But the thing that kind of stopped me or has slowed me down, this ready-to-wear jumper has bust darts. They're about 3/8 inch at the dart legs at the side seam, and then they're about 4 inches long. So I'm not sure how to add a dart to something that I don't have a pattern for. I've been watching videos, and they show you how kind of to add a dart to a pattern piece that doesn't have one. So I may have to draw a pattern off for this. I'm thinking, and I may be wrong, I probably am wrong, but I think I would measure this dart, the full amount that's going to be taken up in the dart, and then add that length at the bottom of the hem. So when I pinch up that dart, this length will all match up. But I'm not sure about that. I can measure. I know how to measure down from shoulder to bust point to find where the dart should end. But on the part where it's taking up the fabric, I'm not sure. I think I just add that amount to the bottom. But I don't know that. So I have been hesitating. And I don't know that I would need a bust dart necessarily. But this one has it. And I definitely want it to be as close to exact like this one as I can get it. So I've been working on getting that copied. Now, I picked up a few patterns over the past week and a half or so. I don't have a Joann store that's local to me, but the closest one, about 45, 50 minutes away, it's going to be one of the ones that's closing. So I picked up a couple patterns there, and then the Something Delightful website was having a sale, and I ordered some from there. I didn't get a lot, but I do have some. What do I always say that I need? Top patterns. And that's basically what I've got, but I've got a couple of others too. So I'm just briefly going to show you these. I first got McCalls 7976, and it's a top pattern. And it calls for crepe, challis, crepe de chine, and cotton lawn. So basically lightweight cottons, I think. And that is the line drawings. I like all the views. I really like the one that ties here at the bottom. I really think that one's cute. Now this one I got with knowing the whole time that I got it, it's too low cut in the front. And I've got to figure out how to raise that neckline. And I think I can do that, but you know, it's just one of those things. You buy the pattern and then I hesitate making it because it needs to be adjusted. They all need to be adjusted for me. So anyway, I got this one, Simplicity 9748. And I just think that is such a feminine blouse or top. I like all the views. Probably wouldn't make the sleeveless just because it's me. But I like all the other versions. And it calls for batiks, chambray, cottons, gauze, rayons, and silky tops. So I've got a lot of rayons I could use. But it looks at the back, it's just drawn in with a belt that comes from this front part here and goes around to the back and ties. And Simplicity 3018, and this is a 1970s vintage pattern. But I remember this kind of clothes from when I was growing up. I don't know that I had any. I was fairly young in the 70s, but I just loved it. They're so cute, and I love it. So it's got the skirt, the pants, long sleeve little jacket, and the short sleeve little jacket. And that's the line drawings. And I got another pattern, a shirt pattern, Butterick 6874, and this is for stretchy knits. And I like all the versions of it, especially the one the model's wearing, and probably this one. Although I wouldn't mind making the sleeveless one to wear under something. And here is the line drawings. And I've got one more top pattern, and it's McCalls 8325, and it's a Learn to Sew pattern. And it has this beautiful, I think it's called smocking. I'm not sure. But I really like the way that looks, and it's for lightweight fabrics like challis and Swiss dot or dotted Swiss. I always call it Swiss dot, and I think it's dotted Swiss. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I got. And I would probably make one of these two versions. I don't know that that would suit me very well. Those little floofy things. And this pattern is a Butterick pattern. It's Butterick 7012, and I totally got it because of the pattern envelope. This little outfit here, I had a little pink pantsuit when I was probably 8 or 9 years old that looked almost identical to this. I think the pants were just pull-on, and they had a little cuff at the bottom just like that, and a little cropped jacket. Now, I was, of course, little and could wear anything and was skinny, and I'm not now. But when I saw that, I just thought, oh my gosh, it just brought back so many memories of that cute little outfit. And I don't know where my mama got it. I have no idea. I don't remember. But it's also got the skirt. So it's got a lot of pieces to it. It's got the jacket, the skirt, and the pants. So, yeah, I could just envision my little pink pantsuit that I had when I was a kid. So that's why I got that one. But anyway, I am not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to get on with my Fabric Wheel of Fate make and my herringbone copied jumper, I hope. So that's my two things. And then I've still got my red denim out, and I'm still going to work on those red overalls. So I hope to see you next week with my makes, or one of them, and I hope that you're well, and I hope that you will have a great weekend sewing and watching YouTube videos. And remember, if you love sewing and you get joy from patterns and fabrics and threads and all the things like I do, don't ever stop. Don't ever give up, even if you have fails, even if you don't always have a good outcome like I a lot of times don't have. It's the journey. It's about learning as we go. And besides, the point is you'll never have time or money to get into any kind of trouble if you sew. Just ask me how I know. Have a great weekend, and thanks again for watching. See you soon. Bye.